Welcome to the Undrafted Free Agents Live podcast, a football podcast for recently fired head coaches. Here are your hosts, Richard and Merp.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Undrafted Free Agents podcast. It's the end of week 5, and we've got a really good one. It was a really good week of football. We're all excited to talk about it. There was a lot of stuff that we saw happening, and immediately we were like, oh, we got to talk about that. So many things. But first, let's talk about that theme music. Whoa. Where does that come from?
Someone who thinks they're a lot better at guitar than they actually are.
Yeah. What I noticed though, there's like a distinct lack of Peppa Pig happening in there.
Yeah. Need some Peppa.
Yeah, if you don't know, which you wouldn't know, but that's Rich, right? That's you.
Yeah. I wrote that Friday night. And then recorded it on an iPhone, and it actually, like, I know it's me doing it, but like it doesn't sound that terrible. Like,
it sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds
It
good.
was. We cranked up the distortion so you can't tell how bad I'm at guitar, but it fit. I thought like the rhythm and everything kind of matched with what we're trying to do in this DIY stuff.
And the original had some Peppa in the
Yes,
background.
so there's some context there that only us two would have gotten, but
Right.
now we filled everyone in.
Yes. There you go. Peppa all over YouTube, by the way. Like my middle school son, there's some kind of like Peppa Pig meme going around on
Oh, I have to find it.
yeah, and like they joke about it all the time. I don't know, middle school humor. Anyway, let's start the week off, right? We got our highlights, what we loved about the week in the NFL. There was a lot. There was a lot to love. Do you want to go first?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so
sure.
the highlight of my weekend, I think it was amazing watching the Giants-Seahawks game, the polar ends of that game, where the one of the first, it wasn't the first play of the game, but early in the first quarter, you had the Giants go down the field 94 yards, right to like the 1 yard line. Fumble the ball. I'm still not super convinced that they actually fumbled
No,
it.
that was a touchdown.
Yeah.
100%. That was a touchdown.
And they got it returned 100 yards the other way for the Seahawks touchdown. You've seen those highlights or those plays where you're watching, you're like, oh, that's not going to count. I don't know why those guys are wasting that energy and they're running after him. And I think a lot of the Giants kind of like, oh, this is just going to come back.
Yeah, there's no way.
And it didn't. It counted.
Yeah.
It counted.
Yeah.
So we spotted the Seahawks 7 points, and then you go to the end of the game when the Seahawks should have tied it, and the Giants hop the gap, block that field goal.
Totally unexpected.
Totally
unexpected.
But how could he not have blocked it? He was so close, right?
Right.
It would have been like a wanted bullet. Remember that movie?
Yes.
It's like navigate around it. And then it gets returned, and Seattle has the same exact feeling. Like, oh, this is going to get called back.
Yeah.
They touch the center, like, it's
whatever,
come back,
yeah, right.
And then it didn't.
Yeah.
So, like, the two crazy plays to start that game and end that play were the highlight for me.
Yeah, and that one play, like the block kick, have you seen, like, the analysis of the coaching that went in, the scouting?
Time it perfectly.
Yeah, like, the special teams coach noticed, like, they were digging a little too low in the middle of the line. It's amazing. And coaching up the defensive tackles, they had Dexter Lawrence was in there to like actually hold down that guard so that Simmons can clear. You know, that those, we hear a lot about how coaches spend long nights, you know, in the film room and all that, and you can see that's where it pays off. Yeah.
I always assumed like special teams is like what they gave players, like busy work. Like it actually made a difference. Like just go study this film, see if there's anything that Seattle's doing funny. It actually made a difference.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe it was not the special teams coordinator, but like some lackey that were like, pour through this film and see what you can see. We're not gonna know who that
The
person
NFL
is.
equivalent of a grad assistant.
Yeah, like an intern or
Yeah.
something, right? Um, every weekend we get like a barrel full of just incredible plays. Something about the NFL game, it's so varied. You never know what's going to happen, and so many things can happen compared to other sports. Like in basketball, and I love basketball. I played basketball. It's just like the same thing. There's only a limited number of things, but there's so many variables.
Yeah.
And so then you get these wild plays, and I'm thinking of like Lamar Jackson's incredible touchdown where he like face palmed, I think it was Hubbard twice, and just like tossed it. But last night, and you probably know where I'm going with this, like there was a play that I saw, and it just made my face light up with a smile, like just pure joy, because it was like an unbelievable play, impromptu, and unexpected, right? And I'm talking about Travis Kelce's lateral,
Yeah.
right?
What a play.
What a play, right? And the thing about the NFL game is there's so many different things you can do to accomplish a goal.
First down.
Almost.
3rd and 22.
Right. Eventually they did. If not for that play, they wouldn't have had a chance. And so there's so many tools at your disposal to like get to from A to B. And that's one that, we don't see a lot of. You don't see a lot of laterals. For good reason. It's not the safest play. But when you see it, everyone's probably got to be out of their seats when they see that.
That's going to be the next thing. How long do you think until the NFL starts hiring Australian rugby, Australian rules football coaches? Like, hey, come over here, teach us this.
Oh yeah.
This lateral, because no one the Saints didn't know what to do when that happened.
Right.
They were all
exactly
collapsing on Kelsey. He pitches it, and it completely changes that down.
And I spent the summer trying to convince you guys to watch some rugby with me.
Yes,
I really got into rugby. I'm actually a New Zealand Black Ferns fan, and so that it made me think of that. Like, it kind of looked like an offload, or like a rugby offload. There's at least one rugby player, right?
Yeah. Actually,
on the 49ers. Or no, it's on the Chiefs.
We're getting ahead.
Oh.
That's going to be my 4th down.
Your 4th down.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and so I think we're ready to move into first down for the week, right? So let's get over to first down. Cue the music back up. For first down, you sent a text. You were like, you wanted to challenge my NFL knowledge, right? So it's Quiz Bowl time. We're gonna. What are the parameters of this quiz?
So everyone knows we have 32 NFL teams. We might have some in the future, but we have some that like decades ago existed and no one knows that.
Right.
So the game we're going to play is I'm going to read off some team names, and you have to decide if they were a real NFL team or just made up by me.
Right.
Okay?
Now, wait, before we get into that, this is like, you brought up the teams and, how long the NFL's been around. What's interesting is like we're in an era now where the NFL's like bulletproof. Like you're not losing a team. A team's not folding in this modern NFL. It's the biggest league, in the United States. Is it the biggest league in the world? I feel like I've seen like actual monetary value, like the NFL is worth the most.
I think it is because soccer is the biggest sport in the world.
Yeah.
But that's divvied up against so many countries. Like in soccer, there's the big five: France, England, Spain.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So like that gets divvied up. Where this is just, if you like football, you got to watch the NFL.
But we forget there was a starting point for the NFL,
Yes.
and the NFL had teams that came and went.
A
ton of teams, right?
So many teams.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna say a team name.
Yeah, let me just make sure.
You just have to decide if it's real or fake.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is the New York Bulldogs. Super
New York.
generic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Did I make it up, or was it a real team?
That's tough. because when you get to the animals, you just like, it's almost like AI can make these names,
Yes,
right?
AI can make these names.
Like
I
a
feel
place and an
every
animal.
single high school, or every
Right,
single
there's so
state
many
has a bulldog.
I'm gonna say fake. It's just too.
It's too generic.
Yeah.
It wasn't too generic in 1949, 1950. There was the New York Bulldogs. Yes, that was a real NFL team.
Okay.
Existed for one season.
Now, historically different from the
Well,
Giants
we're gonna
and
get
the
to
Jets.
that later on.
Okay. All right.
All right. The next one is the St. Louis Bullets.
So I'm 0 for 1.
You're 0 for 1.
0 for 1.
0 for 1.
St. Louis Bullets. Man, this is tough. I'm really just throwing darts here.
Yeah. People were obsessed with guns in the 50s. So
I don't know
There
though.
was the Washington Bullets.
There was the Washington Bullets. How did that happen?
I don't know. That doesn't make a ton of sense.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay,
say
that
yes.
is fake.
That is fake.
That is
oh
fake.
my gosh.
That did not exist. Bullets is kind of a weird name for any sports team. I don't know
It
why.
is.
Yeah.
But just thinking that there was a Washington Bullets, I thought, because sometimes you get these organizations that are owned by the same people. They got the same
Yeah.
They come from the same place. And that threw me.
Owners,
You did a really good job on this.
Yes, thank you. Owners are just like, hey, this team played here this year. They had a cool name. We're just going to steal that.
Right.
It happens a lot.
Right.
I follow your logic. Okay, here's the next one. So you're 0 for 2. The Dallas Texans. We have the Houston Texans now. Did we ever have the Dallas Texans?
Yeah, we had to have had the Dallas Texans.
Okay, that is true. That is
Okay.
a real team. 1952, 1 for 3.
1 for 3. 1 for 3.
Okay.
How many you got?
I got 5 plus a bonus.
5. Okay.
Okay. So
All
the next one is the Toledo Pros.
Toledo Pros.
Yes.
Oh man.
Would make it's weird now, but maybe back then because they were.
I'm gonna
amateur
doubt.
teams
I'm gonna
and
doubt your
professional teams.
ability to like make such an off the wall one. So I'm gonna say that was a real team.
That is fake.
That is fake.
There was the Akron Pros.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was the Toledo Maroons, which was I feel like maroon was really popular
Right.
in the 50s, so that kind of made sense. But no, the Toledo Pros, not a real team.
Okay.
All right, last one before the bonus. Kind of an interesting one. We'll see if it's real or not. The Boston Yanks.
Boston
Not Yankees.
Yanks.
Yanks.
Boston Yanks. No. You can't be a
Kind of
Yank
seems weird now 'cause
or
we
a
have the
Yankee.
New
from-
York Yankees.
Although I see the Yanks. It could be like, as opposed to a red coat,
Yeah.
right? Boston. I'm sticking with
how
no.
old do you think the NFL
My
is?
my gut's telling me no, and I always tell my kids, trust your gut, right? 'Cause
Not in this instance.
Oh,
That
okay.
was a real team. It was a real team. So there was actually 2 iterations of this team.
Uh-huh.
In 1944, and then for some reason they stopped in 1945, probably war related, and then came back in 46 and through 48. Now you mentioned earlier that a lot of these NFL teams came and went.
Right.
All the real teams that I mentioned were actually the same franchise. So it started as the Boston
way.
Yanks
Uh-huh.
for a couple of years.
Okay.
Then they just became the Yanks. I guess they lost their city.
Right.
Then they became the New York Bulldogs.
Okay.
And then for a short period of time, there was the New York Yankees baseball team and the New York Yanks football team.
Oh.
And then in 1952, they moved to Dallas and became the Dallas Texans. These were all the same franchise.
Whoa.
Okay?
My mind is blown.
It's going to get blown once more.
Okay.
Eventually, so the Dallas Texans ceased to exist after 1952, but then that, I guess, kernel of an idea popped up again in Kansas City,
Uh-huh.
where they became the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. Yeah. And if you remember back years ago, I think
Yeah.
Alex Smith was the quarterback. They actually had Dallas Texan throwback uniforms.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You look it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna
actually really
Google that.
cool.
Look that up.
So yeah, this
though.
was all one franchise. Crazy names. And also, it's funny to imagine that a team that was called the Yanks, which is short
Yeah.
for the Yankees,
Right.
decided to go to Texas and become the Texans. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I feel like if you call someone a Yankee in Texas, that's
Uh-huh.
an insult.
I think about those teams though that like
Yeah.
pick up and move, but don't change their names, like the
Yeah,
Lakers.
the Lakers.
Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
I think I would have wanted to see a Dallas Yankees.
The Dallas Yankees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dallas
that'd be
Yankees.
pretty
would
cool.
have
All right, so the bonus question bonus
Okay,
round,
bonus.
extra credit.
Yep.
You only got 1 out of 5, so maybe you can make some points here. So this last one is it an NFL team, MLB team, or both?
Okay.
Cincinnati Reds.
I'm
NFL team, MLB team, or both?
gonna say both.
It was, both. Cincinnati Reds were an NFL team for a short period of time. And obviously we had the Cincinnati Reds as a Major League Baseball team, which
Right.
happens a lot. Like the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Like they were just naming things like left and right, just like the same thing. The New York Football Giants, the New
You're
York
right.
Baseball Giants.
Right. Like the San Francisco Giants were the New York Giants, right?
Yes.
Baseball Giants.
Yeah.
And were they, were they associated with each other? The New York Football Giants and the New York Baseball Giants?
I would have to look that up.
Okay.
I imagine not. They probably just got the same name. Like we know the Giants nickname comes from the skyscrapers. They
Right.
probably just both saw the skyscrapers and like
Yeah.
it's good. It's like when two bands in different parts of the country are like, oh man, isn't this a really cool band name? And they both do it, but then they don't realize until like they go online.
Yeah.
Or get big.
But I want you all out there to note, I did reach the bottom of Rich's useless
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
I found a kernel he hadn't gotten to in his sports trivia. We're going to be doing a lot more of this. You're going to learn more about Rich's penchant for useless sports knowledge.
It's so useless. It's
It's so
trivial.
useless.
All right.
All right, we're
for
ready. Let's go to
down.
second down. Let's
Okay.
go to second down. And we wanted to always expand our game here, right? And I saw something happen in week 5, and I thought, oh, we gotta like analyze this. Like there was one play that was sneaky influential in how a game played out, and I noticed right away that TV announcers later, other commentary, no one talked about it. But when I saw this play, I was like, wait. That made the difference in the game, okay? And it was early in the week. I'm talking about our Thursday night game, barn burner, really great game.
Yeah.
Right.
Just back and forth.
Yeah, between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. And so I'm going to set the table here for you on our whole play here. We're talking about one play.
Yeah.
We're talking about second thoughts, right? Micro decisions. What could these players have done differently? How it could have completely changed the outlook of the game.
Monday/Tuesday quarterbacking.
Monday/Tuesday quarterbacking. Yeah. So here we are. We're at the end of the game, at the end of regulation, not at the very end of the game. And you'll probably, if you saw this game, you'll remember this play. It's 1:52 to go. It's 4th and 15. Atlanta has the ball. They're down by 3. All right. And they got themselves in a pickle here, right? 4th and 15. You never want to be there, right? Especially
Late
at the end of the game, trailing by 3. We've got Atlanta here. They're in 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end. That tight end is Kyle Pitts, who's had a great game. He's having a great season. He's one of those like, is he really a tight end? We're not seeing a lot of inline blocking from Kyle Pitts. Right? He's more like sometimes you get these receivers that just didn't stop growing.
Yeah.
So at the pre-snap, before snap, they end up basically in trips left. Kyle Pitts is there with 2 other receivers, and we've got Darnell Mooney down on the near side, singled up on the right side of the line. The Bucks, they're in nickel, right? They've got 2 linebackers on the field, but they're playing it like dime, right? We've got Levante David, instrumental in the play. You guys remember? He is kind of out there playing like a defensive back, and they're going Tampa 2, so they've got 3 guys covering one side of the field, 3 guys covering the other, and we've got the Mike linebacker. He's gonna carry down the middle of the field. So on the snap, what's gonna happen, right? We've got 3 receivers to the left. They're all running routes. Kyle Pitts actually kind of does a chip block, so he's late coming out. And we've got Moody on the right. He kind of does a curl at the sticks. Not a great route.
No.
And because Algier, the running back, is offset right, he also helps to protect. Moody's like the only receiver out there.
Yeah.
Okay, and Cousins, he gets a little bit of pressure, and he's going to Moody, who's been kind of a big play guy for them throughout this game.
Reliable target.
But he's throwing into triple coverage.
Yes.
Right. On the other side, Ray McLeod is actually going to be he's the slot receiver. He's going to hit the seam, and he actually has a chance if Cousins could get the ball deep down the middle. He can go to the backside of that one safety who's going to widen out. In Tampa too, the safety's kind of widen out, and the middle linebacker carries. I think Cousins with a little bit. I think he's got the arm. But this is the kind of play that like kills me with Cousins. Yeah. He plays quarterback sometimes like he plays quarterback like a 9-figure millionaire who drives a minivan. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like loaded with Cole's cash. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. And he goes to Moody, and there's no chance for this play, right?
Yeah, no.
Levante David, he picks it off. And he's a good
immediately gets tackled, by the way.
And he's like a good 2 yards in front of the route. And they end up getting the ball. You're right. He gets tackled after a couple yards, and they pick up the ball at the 29. So it's a turnover. Atlanta loses the ball.
Yeah.
Right. But in our second thoughts, we're not really thinking about Kirk's decision. Right. Kirk could have gone to Ray McLeod, but
it all works out for Kirk.
It all works out for Kirk in the end, right? So, what are we looking at here?
Should he have intercepted it or not?
Should he have, right?
Or just knocked it down?
Right? Because what happens? They set up on the 29. They actually lose yards on the first play. Run. I'm talking about the Bucs now. They've got the ball.
Yeah,
offensive holding brings them back. Another no gain, and they've got a punt.
Yeah.
Right, because at that point you've got like a
60-yard
field goal. It's in that range. Kickers nowadays are incredible, but you got to have the stomach for it as a coach too, right? And so Levante David, rewind, deeper look. Should he have picked that ball off?
No,
he should not. Right?
He should have knocked it down. And it's funny to go back to my highlight of the week. So if he knocks that down. Okay, it's a turnover on downs. The ball goes to the 20.
Right.
They're well within field goal range, even with what we see happens where they lose yards with a penalty and a run. So he knocks it down. They're in field goal range. They kick a field goal, and now Kirk Cousins and the Falcons have to score a touchdown.
Right.
Okay, as opposed to a field goal. Flashback to my highlight of the week: the Giants blocked that field goal. The Giants had no business scoring that touchdown because they were already winning. Yeah. They scored a touchdown. It goes back to Seattle, and they at least have a chance with a crazy play, touchdown, onside kick. They can. If he just goes down at like the 5, they just run out the clock with the knee. Yeah. So you saw two players. I wouldn't say they're like selfish plays, but they get excited about like a touchdown and interception. The Giants guy doesn't get penalized because the Giants end up winning the game. Yeah. The guy from the Buccaneers definitely gets penalized because they end up losing that game. Yeah,
and like, how much can we expect from a player at that point? Yeah, right. Although on good defenses, on better defensive, I have seen players do that, situationally aware, bat the ball down. I wonder if they were in true dime and David was shifted to the middle linebacker and they had a defensive back out there. He would have been less excited about getting the pick. Yeah. Maybe I don't know.
It's always hard too because like those guys, that means dollar signs.
That
those
does.
Guys, yeah.
Right.
They look at all those stats and that's how they price out what you should be making. So I get like you got to make that interception because it's good for your career. Right. But in the short term, like, that didn't lose them the game, but it took away an opportunity for them to ice the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've encountered these brilliant defensive coordinators, and maybe they prep for that, right? Maybe the team culture is about, what's best for the team. Whatever it is, we have seen players bat that ball down in the past.
It's really
Levante David did, and no one really said anything about that. But I was looking at that and thinking back, I was like, man, the Bucks had it in their hands.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
Levante didn't have it in his hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I always think of, you always see the more like relevant example, not relevant, but more common example, running backs when they go in
Yes.
and they just need a first down, but they break through the line and they can score a touchdown super
Right.
easy. They just go down at the 1. And remember, Ahmad Bradshaw in
Right.
the Super Bowl tried so
Iconic,
hard
iconic.
to stop at the 1, and his momentum just took him into the end zone.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting to see how these coaches deal with that, where you have the you know, you're always trained to score a touchdown, intercept the ball, but in certain times that's not the best play
Right.
in terms of like statistics.
Right. So that's our second thought of this week. A great play, great game, and great ending.
What a great start to the NFL weekend.
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
And a great week. We got like a Sunday morning game mixed in there. It was just a good weekend. of
I
football.
do always forget about those London games, and it's always a surprise fantasy wise. And
Right.
I'll turn on the TV like, oh my goodness, there's a game.
All right.
All right.
You ready for third down?
I am ready for it.
Let's move through this. Third down. We teased this last week, right? We're gonna be talking Joe Flacco a little bit here.
Apropos, it's near Halloween because he just can't die. He just always comes back.
Oh, Richard. So we decided what we would do is try and find the Flacco line,
Yes.
right? The Flacco line. That's like the demarcator between is your quarterback better?
Mm-hmm.
Are you better off in your quarterback room situation
Then
than Joe Flacco?
Yeah. Kind of similar in baseball to the Mendoza line. If you remember the Mendoza line, you ever hear of the Mendoza line?
I don't know much about
Oh,
it.
okay. It's like this one player, I forget his first name, but he was just constantly in between the majors and the minor
Oh, okay.
leagues. So he was like the demarcation line. He batted 200. So like if you were better than him, you could be
You
in the
could, right.
majors. If you were worse than him, you meant to be in the minors. And it's funny, if you actually look this up, they actually have a football Mendoza line.
Oh, really?
It's actually a current NFL quarterback too.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to guess who it is?
Wait, the starting quarterback?
Yes. Just started, and it's not Joe Flacco. It's pretty.
Is it Andy Dalton?
It is Andy Dalton.
Andy
The Andy Dalton line.
The Andy Dalton line.
It's like the line between
Ooh.
a starter and a backup,
Okay. All right.
which is funny because he's on this list.
He's on this list
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So I took your homework. You told me about this idea. I thought it was a great idea, and I did it. I went through. I tiered up all of the quarterbacks that are currently starting in the NFL. The way I observed it, put them into tranches, and I came up with my Flacco line.
Okay.
Right. And so right now, right, and I know there are a lot of haters out there. It's easy for me. I think Mahomes is like his own tier.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone earlier today about when a quarterback matures,
Yeah.
right? Like a late or post mid stage, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. There's a command of the offense that's different. When they're installing things into an offense because your quarterback can do it, that's where that's where those guys were. You see them catch 12th man before they get off the field, offsides, like all these
Yeah.
things.
Rodgers is really good.
Yeah, when you get the ability unlocked to put that in the offense, right? And the thing is, Mahomes is not quite there, but I watch him move the offense around, and I can see for a young player, he's like way advanced.
Yeah.
Way advanced, right?
What's crazy, and we could talk about this on a different episode, but so Mahomes is tracking where he could be the greatest of all time. He could be the GOAT.
Right.
Which would mean Tom Brady had the shortest stay as GOAT
As GOAT.
ever. It was like 4 years. And then Mahomes came and like, no,
Yeah.
I'm going to take this over. But anyway,
Hard. It's early to say. Early to say, right?
tracking that way. But yes, early to say.
All right, let's fast forward a little through this, right? So the next tier, any team would love to have these players, right? And I'm gonna throw them out there. They're kind of in order, but I can see people, jostling the positions. I got Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins. He stays in here, and he's showing, proving his worth right now. Jared Goff.
Yeah,
What a story.
yeah.
Like I love that.
Perfect for
I love
Detroit,
seeing that.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, I think, is, talk about potential. CJ Stroud, I see him almost make no mistakes
Yeah.
in the game. And right now, at the bottom of this tier for me, Sam Darnold. Ooh, I know. Sometimes he wants to be the other Sam
Yeah.
Darnold, but he's, they're not losing because of him. They're winning because of him. So,
Got a little
right.
down to earth this weekend, but yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Next grouping, it's a mix of guys that are high floor, low ceiling, and guys that are not meeting the potential that they could be in the next level,
Yeah,
right?
they
So
could be a little younger. Yeah.
I've got Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. Derek Carr is really reaching, but for this season, I'm talking about at this moment. But Derek Carr, this is as high I think as he can go with this list. Brock Purdy, a little bit of a mystery for me. I talk him down a lot, but he's up here. This is a good place to be. Geno playing up also. Baker, Geno, they're both like playing up to this, and Derek to this section. Justin Herbert, like Joe Burrow, could be a lot better.
Yeah, both of them are having like
Right.
a little bit of down years.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this is like the Dak Prescott place. Like Dak Prescott's gonna be here. He's not going up or down.
It's the
from
name
here.
of his group.
Yeah,
That's
this is the
name of
Dak
group, yeah.
Prescott group.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. The next group, they're like, it's almost like the bridge between the next great quarterback,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like we got this guy.
Bridge quarterback. Yeah.
He's here. We got him.
yeah.
We're gonna,
They used to
get
call
some
that
good
the
stuff,
Teddy
build around him.
Bridgewater.
Right. So I've got Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. Justin Fields. I'm not impressed, by the way.
Literally just bridging until
Yeah.
Wilson gets
Matthew
healthy.
Stafford, he's just not in his prime anymore. Daniel Jones is here, although I think Daniel Jones is playing great right
Yes.
now. Jalen Hurts, this is his place. I think people
Yeah,
like over.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
That just was.
I don't think he was as good as people
Nah.
put him. Jacoby Brissett
is
is
still
just he's just existing right now.
Mhm.
And Gardner Minshew, again punching above his weight,
Mhm.
right? But not really holding his team back.
Yeah.
This
This is the line.
is the line. I
Ah.
think these are better than Joe Flacco.
Mhm. It's funny because I'm looking at both our lists. So our first, like the top player below the Flacco line, we both have Lawrence. Yeah.
Right.
He's just not progressing.
He's not.
He's
yeah.
not.
His.
And it's
Yeah.
funny because the two big quarterback prospects out of that field coming out of high school, Lawrence and Mac Jones,
Oh my
both on
gosh.
the Jaguars.
Both of the Jaguars.
Yeah, not
What are they
doing
doing?
So great.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
All right, and so above the or below the Flacco line, we've got Trevor Lawrence, we've got Aaron, Ron, just got his coach fired.
Yeah.
I truly believe you got him fired. We've got the whatever's happening in Carolina,
Yes. Currently Andy Dalton. Yeah.
right? Will Levis, what is going on there?
Too busy making Mayo commercials.
Right. And I've got Miami's quarterback situation here. I think Tua is above,
It's whoever just shows
but
up that day.
I don't know if, yeah. And my bottom's Sean Watson. That is
Yeah.
Brutal.
It is. Yeah.
that is
Cleveland's gonna look to any option to not have him be on the team.
right, but they
can't.
can't. That's like the worst contract.
Worst
Ever.
literally the worst contract ever.
Right. Now, not included. I did not include rookie
That's fair.
quarterbacks. Right,
Although
like Caleb Williams, Bo Nix,
Mhm.
Jaden Daniels. Yeah, I mean, you can't choose Flacco over them.
no.
And any team that has these guys probably should have Flacco
Yes.
or a Flacco,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But they're all
It's
playing
just
well.
not the way the NFL is structured now. They want these rookies in ASAP, except for
Yeah.
Drake May. He's just
Right,
kind of chilling.
Kind of chilling. Although I just saw a news story about maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Making the
the
switch.
locker room wants May.
Is that so? Well,
Yeah.
again, Brissett's just kind of like a placeholder. He's like
Yeah.
an NFL placeholder.
Mhm. So it's funny because I'm looking at our two list. It looks like we have about roughly the same number. I have Flacco around 20. So
Around
that means
20.
like 19 quarterbacks that
Okay.
teams would be like, no, we're fine with our QB.
That's probably about
And then that would be like 13 teams, including the Colts, who I think would rather have Flacco.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, like you include the Jets, I definitely include the Browns. How did they let him walk out the door?
Right. I mean the Browns.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What is Flacco going to cost you compared to,
Yeah.
what you're
Like
paying?
you thought Jameis Winston was gonna. I mean, he's doing fine. Like he
Yeah.
comes in for especially plays and all, but like you had a guy.
You had a guy.
It must be coming from up top, where like the owner.
Oh yeah.
wants
They
it,
don't want. You're right.
Yeah,
But
it's about 13 teams.
And-
which they Joe Flacco.
this is like for the season, but like week to week, like Flacco had a bomb week. He had like 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's probably at the for this week closer to the top half of this week.
And it's crazy to think like 1 year back where he was just like a free agent, just chilling.
Right, just
Yeah.
on the couch,
Cleveland had to fly him
hanging
in.
with his kids.
Yeah, it's just like wild. Like he can obviously still play. I guess I don't think the fan base is like. You're not going to rally up a fan base if you sign Joe Flacco.
Right.
Maybe like now, but a year ago you weren't.
Right.
But now it's evident he can still play.
Yeah.
Is he the new Ryan Fitzpatrick?
The new Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't think anyone. That's an accomplishment.
That's an accomplishment. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Flacco was a top tier quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick was never a top tier quarterback.
But
That's
he
why.
just consistently
Yeah.
was kind of there.
I mean, like, if Brissett had wanted to travel more, he maybe could do that.
Do you want to hear a crazy Joe Flacco trivia?
Yeah, let's make it quick.
Okay. Never made a Pro Bowl. Entire career.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's wild when you think about all he's done.
Yeah.
Like just never
Yeah,
made a
yeah.
Pro Bowl, and they hand those out. Like they just hand those out.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay,
Fourth
let's
down.
go to fourth down real quick here. Okay, what's going on here? There you go. All right, fourth down. So to close things out, a little bit of fun. We were thinking, superhero movies are big now, right? If you could have a superpower, like steal an NFL player's superpower, kind of like Monstars
Yes.
style, right?
The original Space.
Right. What would it be? What would you?
All right, I'm gonna go a little unconventional here. I believe it's pronounced Troy Taylor.
Troy Taylor.
Yes, I can see the expression on your face. You're like, who is
Yeah.
this?
Who is this?
He is the rookie punter for the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
But he came over from Australia. Australian rules football player. Okay. Went to University of Iowa. Was putting up NFL numbers as their punter. So average 42.6 yards per punt net, which is like a great NFL punter already in
Right.
college. And I feel like that translates like a punt in college, a punt in the NFL.
Right.
It's a punt. It's all a punt. 49% of the time, he's landing it inside the 20-yard line, so he's switching that field real nice. And his career long is 70 yards, which is just wild.
Wow.
So, I mean, who
There you
wouldn't
go.
want to be able to kick a ball really, really far?
Most people, but you're a kicker. So.
Yes, yeah. It seems, first off, it is really cool to kick something really far. It's transferable to other sports.
Okay.
Kickball, soccer. Yeah, I led with kickball. It's okay.
Kickball, yeah.
And then it's like the safest position. So
Right. True. So if you're a fantasy league,
yes.
which I'm actually in one, has punters.
Check them out.
There's your tip.
I bet you know one.
There's
has
your
it.
hot tip. Right.
Plus, you get to wear the cool punter helmet.
No, they don't do that anymore.
They should.
They should.
Yeah, I think that got grandfathered out.
Yeah.
All right.
I mentioned last week cornerbacks. I'm still thinking about cornerbacks. I want to just forget my mistakes as fast as a cornerback does.
My goodness.
Like you'll see them get burned, mossed, whatever, and the next play, like a pass goes in the dirt, and they're like, as if they're the ones who like won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
They're like
you
celebrating on
want
the
the memory of a
sideline.
goldfish,
I want the
in other
memory
words,
of a goldfish.
And
Yeah, when I make
specifically
mistakes,
with mistakes.
right? You know, like one of those people that like, I'll think about it for like weeks. Like, oh, did I really say you too to like the
the cashier. Yeah.
cashier? Yeah.
You have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's why I want to like, right? I did it. It's gone.
Be a goldfish.
On to the next play. On to the next human interaction, I guess.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, that was episode 2, week 5 of the NFL. We've got a full season to go. Really excited to keep this going. We'll see you guys. I think we should be doing 4:35 instead of 4:30, but next week, Tuesday, 4:35, we'll see you there. All right. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great week.
Yep. Later.